Bam. Okay.
Ooh.
Here we are.
That was a chaotic start.
We had a technical moment.
We had some floor sleeping moments, some technical mic moments.
A thing that I definitely should have checked when I originally plugged it in.
Well, I mean, technology sometimes it kind of works, you know.
Technology sometimes it just kind of works, and that's kind of what I expect of technology.
And then sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't, and in those cases, I'm sad.
It be like that sometimes.
It do be like that sometimes. You can definitely say that. It do be like that.
And sometimes it do that.
It do. And we do. Tonight on Bloodwine. When last we met, you guys had reunited. You'd managed to find a base. You've identified your target. What else do you guys remember from last session to situate where we are and what's going down?
There's a business drinker.
A dudester.
Dudester.
That would be Lord Vulcan.
Lord Vulcan. He has
an MLM.
Well, not an MLM as much as a harebrained scheme to set up a
con artist.
He's not even a con artist. He's taken a sort of basic scientific alchemical arcanic principle and expanded it to ludicrous scale. And he's going to build sort of a fire gateway through the frozen north. And people have started giving him ludicrous amounts of money to finance this insane operation.
And I know that I'm going to be on the first trip to Mars.
Yes. We don't, I mean, because we all know.
I've already signed up. And you know that first trip is the one that goes perfectly every single time.
Well, because we all know that gimmicky public transportation systems always work, and that it's entirely plausible to have thousands of cars racing underground at ludicrous speeds with no way to save anyone if something goes wrong.
I mean, better than a vacuum tube. Here at Bloodwine, we're apparently getting real salty.
Yeah, we're real salty about things that are dumb.
Well, seems kind of harsh.
I
wouldn't call him stupid.
I didn't call him stupid. I didn't call Lord Vulcan
Anyway.
stupid.
We digress.
I guess it's already the time I need it to be. It's the early morning. You guys have, after you've had a bit of time to settle in, you've all slept in a little bit. It happens. In nice, cozy rooms. Why don't we have people wake up one by one here in this big manor? You guys have been basically given a month's free rent with the understanding that you're house sitting and guarding this from thieves. So, you kind of got to leave it the way you left it, but if you're careful, that's a lot of leeway. You know?
Doesn't have to remain the way it was, just as long as eventually it reaches that sort of status quo.
Exactly.
Saying we Home Alone that shit?
No, I'm not saying we Home Alone anything. We have, magic,
God, can you imagine if
guns.
What, Kevin McAllister would do if he had all of the, ritual magic and, elemental bullshittery and things like that?
I mean, he'd probably just call the police and be like, hey. Hey, guys, a little help?
There are people that are constantly trying to rob my house, and I've been holding
also
them
on,
up for the last 2 hours.
Is that your aggressive reading of Home Alone, that if Kevin McAllister was a wizard, he would have called the cops?
I'm saying that if he had any sort of common sense whatsoever and he wasn't foolish enough to believe that he literally made his family disappear with magic. Because that's what he thought. That's the whole reason he doesn't tell anyone. Because he thinks he's responsible for the murder of his family.
That's fair. It is kind of a movie about Christmas magic, while also being 100% not a movie about Christmas magic.
Yeah. The Christmas magic is violence, and his family disappears.
Speaking of disappearing, as you guys moved all your stuff in the night before, you sort of finished unpacking and all went to bed without much fanfare. Who's going to wake up first as you guys are in a more or less unfamiliar environment?
Me.
Vesta.
All right. You are in a room. It's got 2 beds, but you're only in one. You're alone in this one. There's a window which leads to inside your own home here, and there's a door into the hallway.
Hallway.
All right. You sort of stumble out here into a long linear hallway. There's 7 doors in total. At one end is a downward staircase, which is far from you. You're near sort of an elbow that goes out towards the mezzanine.
Nearest door.
It's not a
Like the
LucasArts
one-
adventure game. Like,
That's what it feels like. That's how I'm
Lick
playing
door.
it. I touch the handle.
I lick the door.
Actually, yeah. If you're gonna LucasArts this? How are you interacting with this door?
I see if the door is unlocked.
It's locked.
Hmm.
Well, I quit this game. I'm done.
Well, I guess that's how it is.
I'm gonna go play Halo.
It's like you notice it has like a blue dot on the lock or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You need the blue passcode.
Except really, you need a blue lizard that spits acid from 3 zones before.
Oh, okay. LucasArts is not Sierra. All right.
Yeah, but both of them have the same problems in some ways.
Sierra's way worse.
You know that the LucasArts company, when they have a little scripting that they used to like choreograph things cinematically, and they called it Scum. And for years, it was like the pinnacle of adventure game scripting is the Scum engine. And then they made a new one, and they called it Muck or something. It's something nasty. They're nasty boys down at LucasArts. Anyway, open the dang door.
It's locked.
Oh, just open it.
There's another one right next to it that's like weirdly slightly thinner. That one is not locked.
I open it.
You smell muck and scum. It's the toilet.
I close it.
So at this point,
Fuck, Will.
you hear the sound of like jiggling handles and doors opening and closing. You're nearby, Reggie, when you awaken. You're alone in a room yourself, and you've pushed the 2 beds together.
Oh yeah, big boy bed. And the best part is, I don't have feeling in like the back area to feel the crease that I have definitely sunk into.
Oh, but don't roll over because that sharp little edge of your shell is gonna wedge right in there and poof.
It's just like. The middle of the night, permanently stuck inside.
Someone help.
Someone help! I'm stuck in side mode.
Configuration side.
Configuration side. And I like that I'm also calling for help when I could just.
Yeah, I mean. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll out of bed without getting stuck.
All right. There's like a. You hear it from in the hallway. It's one of them beds.
The squeaky beds.
It's a bed that can't handle my weight.
There's no window here, just the door out.
I guess I'll get dressed and head out the door.
You end up out in this hallway where you see Vesta sort of just going, closing the bathroom door.
Just kind of go, yeah, I think Steelfist was in it a little bit late last night. I heard him wandering around.
Don't blame me!
Nasty.
As it happens, speak of the devil, the guy walks out of the room, the one that you jiggled the handle to, right across from yours.
Well, maybe then we get Henny involved and she can figure out who was in the bathroom last night.
I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, if you want to wake Henny up for that and explain to her that's why you woke her up.
No, I'm literally just wandering down the hall, like, thinking about this, like, if we really want to find out who made a mess of the bathroom.
I go down the staircase.
All right. You make your way down the hallway and then around the staircase. You end up at an intersection. Here, to retain the heat, all the doors are closed, so you just see hallway, doors, hallway, doors. There's a bunch of, like, carvings that have been painted in on the wall. Instead of having, like, paintings and stuff like that, they're, like, inlays. And there's a bunch of little stands that have little relics of sort. This is something that specifically Vesta and Henny would be very familiar with, considering, like, Vesta in particular specifically has a relic from Salus. You have his chain. It's the same sort of thing.
And my necklace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very ugly necklace.
So here you see that there's, like, 2 doors down one way, door at the end of another hallway, bunch of doors down a long hallway that turns, and then you think you see a door at the end of that hallway.
Do they all look the same?
More or less, actually. There's a pair of nice double doors that you're pretty sure head to the dining room. you dumped a lot of your alchemy stuff in the kitchen, which is where there's all the sinks and water basins and stuff like that you'd need.
Yeah.
Considering you're also awake, you see that down at the end of the hall, there's a door that leads out into the proper big open hall where you prep things for running drills in the morning.
I'm gonna get the gear out, line everything up, obstacle courses, things like that. And I would also like to point out, now that I brought up Salus's necklace, we haven't seen a single bird since he bought that necklace.
Well, was it?
I would like to point that out. Salus is not as crazy as everyone thinks.
Well, we just
We
haven't
also
been looking for birds.
we also left the desert. Like, I was a desert demon.
Yeah, but he had other paranoia with birds.
I'm not saying nothing.
Considering hear the ghost of Salus. Hey, no birds.
No birds.
Wonder why?
Knowing Salus, it's not that. It's that now he's a ghost who can fly. Anytime there's a bird anywhere near the party, he strangles it. Yeah.
So it's just like 100-foot by 100-foot radius that Salus just guards at all times from birds.
If we stand in one place too long, that ring will just gather feathers and dead carcasses right on the perimeter.
Yeah.
So Henny wakes up with a puh. There's this part of the arm that just ends up on your face.
Oh,
And then you're sort of half awake and not fully there, dazed by being sort of whacked out of sleep when you hear a whump. And that's what wakes you up properly.
I jump out of bed. What was that whump?
It was the sound of Bea failing to jump out of bed.
I help her up.
You're not even sure that she's aware there's another person in the room.
I'm gonna go get some coffee.
That seems to be her thoughts as well. You guys walk out of the door. Your room has two windows that head towards quote-unquote outside. It's a street with a roof over it, so it's almost outside.
Okay.
You guys are out near the mezzanine.
Okay. I'm gonna... in game, have a piece of paper. I'm gonna start making a map of this dang labyrinth. Because I need to know where the escape exits are, just in case. So there's my room. And then there's a hallway.
Yep, there's 4 doors in this hallway,
Okay.
and then it intersects with the mezzanine. Also, I'm going to tell you in advance right now, so we don't burn too much time on this, I'm never going to give you a remotely useful description of how this is laid out.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna head to the mezzanine and
And
try
he's
to get
trying
to
to
the
make
kitchen.
mental architectural blueprints and then just realizes that it's just this is too much for this early in the morning.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. If Will's not going to give me an accurate description, I'm not going to waste paper.
You make your way out into the mezzanine and then down the grand staircase into the foyer. From here, there's a hallway. You turn an elbow. One of these rooms was your office, you think, you're not sure. And then you hear the sound of clanging around in the kitchen. As you walk inside, you see Vesta. What's Vesta doing?
Making bread.
It's bread time.
Bread time.
Bread time.
It hasn't been bread time in a long time.
Yeah. It's bread time.
How do you feel about bread?
Good.
Morning, Vesta.
Good morning.
Making
Bread.
not bombs.
No.
Make bread, not bombs.
I didn't
But
realize.
now that you talk about it, maybe I will later. Bread bombs. Wouldn't that be cool?
It sounds sort of kind of dangerous and maybe a little, I don't know, the unsafe. I feel like that might have some sort of violation of some sort of. Do you have a code as alchemists? Maybe.
I don't think so.
That's reassuring. Anyway, dude,
There's
sorry,
a loud
kettle?
clunk. As that happens, you see Bea go clunk with a kettle right in front of where you're standing. When multiple people share a kitchen and someone's using the cupboard that you're literally in front of?
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of situation.
Mm.
For some reason, you see vanilla extract being put up there. You're not sure why. There's 3 other things. There's sesame seeds, and then finally coffee. And then the sesame seeds go back in, and then Bea walks off with the coffee and starts making it.
I was so scared you're gonna say starts eating it. Yeah, okay. Well, coffee
I
time.
need to wake up.
Have you ever met those people? The I'll just dead ass chew a bean people? It's wild.
Whew.
Man.
They're hardcore. And not even a good kind of hardcore, like the kind that just doesn't seem to have a purpose in the world.
So, have you been having trouble finding your way around here? I had an office set up somewhere in here. I had the room picked out, but all these doors look the same.
Yeah, I've kind of figured out the route from kitchen to my room, so
So you're all set.
I'm all set.
Yeah, and I've also figured out training room. Speaking of which, get in here.
Yes, that would actually be really good. We gotta train. Gotta get that training up.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys go out of the door in the kitchen. You see that the double doors to the dining room are open, and then the double doors on the other side of the dining room are also open, heading towards the hall out there. Seems like Trunk and Elmira are already awake.
Go to a morning regiment trunk.
Yeah, seems about right.
All
All right, I'm ready. I've always sort of been exercising this part. Got to get the rest of me up to speed.
right.
Whew, whew, whew.
So, just so I know when I don't, push you too hard on this, what's your level of like expectation out of this?
I want to not die. The last time, I'm sure you remember, we had. Well, I shouldn't say the last time. Remember that time with the wolves when we first met? I had to save my ass because I couldn't handle a wolf.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then that other time when we were trying to catch an evil sniper that was planning to blow up the church and it was killing people, and how I could barely climb to the top of the steeple, and he nearly got past me, and I just barely hung on to him.
I don't remember that part.
Well,
I remember breaking down the door.
all right, I was on the other side. Anyway, I want it to not be that way. We're up against some trickery opponents, and it's kind of up to us.
Well,
Gotta be ready.
Well, one of the best things that I've learned in my time is dexterity.
Mhm.
See,
Uh-huh.
I'm rather large,
Yes.
and I guess in this moment you could say that I am in charge of this specific regime in the morning. So
Yes.
one of the best things to do is to not get hit.
Okay.
In order to do that, you need to move.
Right. Yes.
So, what we're going to do in our little bit of space is you are going to jump rope. And I
All right.
literally just hand her some ropes.
All right, as you get ready for some rigorous physical activity, Vista's up to some rigorous physical activity of her own. You want to give me a good old-fashioned baking roll?
Yeah.
How many people's worth of bread are you making? I want to test out some food stuff that's going to go with the more recent rule release.
I'm gonna make bread for everybody.
Oh god, how many people is that?
Yes, for once it's Will who has to figure out how many people.
I think that's 16 people with all PCs included. So 5 coppers per would be 8 silvers worth of flour for this. You're going to be at this like all morning if you do bread for everyone.
Do I have anything else going on this day?
I mean, I don't want to put words in your character's mouth, but I feel like you're going to be spending all morning baking bread is sort of Vesta's dream.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna spend all morning
And I
baking
mean,
bread.
you could always join the workout, but at this point you hear,
Come on! Go! 5, 10, 15, 20! You're nothing! You're nothing! Stop! Drop and give me 20!
you hear that from the kitchen probably.
I'm gonna make bread for everybody. So it's 8 silvers worth of bread.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Which does mean that you have like plus 80 to this roll. This is very good bread.
Okay.
I'm immediately realizing a flaw in this plan. I'm pretty sure there should be a cap on that. I'm going to say it's plus 10. You have plus 10 to this bread.
Okay. Sounds good. I said, so how? Wait. So am I rolling once for all of the bread, or should I roll 16 times?
Just once for all the bread.
Okay.
Water.
You do comically just appear off screen almost perfectly.
It's like
That's
you're
the way
going-
it should be.
It's like you're going into hammer space to get a glass of water.
Yeah.
12 for my bread. Oh, plus 10.
So that would be 22.
Little does everyone know this is Vorpal water.
You can just say vodka.
Okay, yeah, it's vodka.
You're
It's
drinking,
Vorpal vodka.
we're all drinking straight vodka.
Straight vodka does the body good, and it makes us look real cool, and people want to be our friends.
Yeah.
We're feeling stronger. No more feeling bad. Our eyes are shining.
Are you in a cult?
I was going to say I'm referencing a metal song, but
Oh.
that kind of answers as yes.
I mean, my second guess is going to be Teletubbies, so... Anyway.
I do have an obsession with pudding.
Don't we all?
I wish. I miss butterscotch pudding.
What do doctors know?
Can you eat butterscotch?
I can't have any of that. It all has milk in it.
Oh, no.
I'm
What's
sure
that?
there is a milk-free butterscotch pudding out there
I
somewhere.
have not seen one sold in grocery
Y'all have to
stores.
make it.
I'm going to have to make it, and it's going to be glorious when I do.
I'm sure that there's some sort of convoluted recipe online that involves like a baby's heart and like the gum of an ancient tree or something.
Xanthan gum?
Well, you guys pass some of the time in the morning. Your first of several batches of bread. This takes a couple of goes through the oven. Is ready at this point, and you've gone through one round of training so far. Why don't both of you guys roll? Well, what kind of regimen are you running? Is this
Military as fuck.
what role are you
Yeah.
making her have to deal with?
Yeah.
This would probably be a grace roll.
Okay. Well,
She said she wanted to be more acrobatic. I'm making her more acrobatic
All right.
by doing
Grace is your
things
oh,
that are
Grace and weapon you got.
yeah,
acrobatic
no,
as fuck.
I do have 4 dots in grace.
Yeah.
But I have 0 in physical, so I'm kind of a bit out of shape. But it makes the math nice
Wow.
and easy.
Yeah, I know, right? I love all my mental rolls.
So that's a 17
And it's like with a 0 physical?
with a 0 physical.
Okay, so you see the sign of someone who has been training at this for quite some time, but like also reached a point where constant training wasn't necessary and then didn't do it a lot.
Yeah, like I went to the gym back before I had to run away from home, and I went to yoga and whatnot, but I haven't been in a long time.
You did well enough on the physicals to become an investigator with the police force, and then you didn't do another physical, so why would you train?
Exactly.
Just sit back and eat donuts all day.
Yeah. Exactly.
As you guys are sort of resting up, Corvo comes by and slaps down a bunch of pages, basically reports that have been decrypted and thrown together from previous days. Would you guys like an update on the recent goings-on?
I would.
I'll take half a stack if it's going to take the other half.
Well, I
Basically just saying facts out loud.
no, I mean, if
Well,
you,
that's what I'm basically doing. I'm basically relaying and trying to summarize the reports as best I can.
yeah, but so sort of we did a physical drill, and now we're going to do a bit of a mental drill where you sort of digest the information and then relay it sort of succinctly once it's all.
I thought that's what I'm doing.
No, but you're kind of going. You're doing like a page by page basis. I'm saying, you figure out what the situation is and then relay important information.
I'm presuming that by this point, Vesta has been quietly ingesting the reports while they debate.
Yeah.
It's distracting.
You've
It's
got
distracting
updates on
when you talk.
the movement of some life drinkers so far.
Awesome. Are they doing anything interesting?
If you guys remember who Laszlo was, the dude in Delta,
Mm.
he's still in there. Some more info's been gathered. It looks like he's privatizing a lot of services for some reason. A lot of the local crafting guilds have been dissolved, and There's something to do with contractors or something like that. Kree, the first one that really Vesta met, and the others haven't. He's remaining on the move. Right now he's moved to Shadowgate, which is a ways away. He operates a consulting firm called Chickadee Strategy.
It's kind of cute.
It's a funny name.
Boru, of course, thorn in your side so far, is on a major business expedition going north. Last spotted on a boat heading north from Westwatch.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's 3 different things you guys can look into next. One of them is some sort of big thing to do with Vulcan. There's something to do with that case with the serial killer a while back, and a letter from a stranger.
Who's the letter addressed to?
It's basically addressed to your party via like secret channels type of thing. You guys know better than to be out in the open, so Corvo operates sort of like
People
eyes and
doing
ears for you.
To whom it may concern about doing things bad to life drinkers.
Yeah, that's
Those
about her whole
who
operation.
like to eat the life.
Now, Vulcan's kind of why we're here. I mean,
Okay, but what's the letter say?
The letter appears to be addressed to a selected group of you guys. You guys recognize it as being the people who were involved with the stuff with the Red Coat Mining Company a while back. This letter is from someone who introduces themselves as Morris Burroughs, like a people's rights lawyer kind of thing.
Okay.
He wants to meet in Last Hearth. By the wording of the letter, he doesn't expect you guys to be there. He doesn't seem to know you're there. But he says he'll be in town in 2 weeks' time, is willing to wait for you guys for some sort of private matter.
Okay. Well, keep that in mind. The serial killer thing, what's that?
It looks like the guy, Joran was his name, was executed for like on mass murder charges for the bombing in the mines. Because he was already closed, charged, and executed, the cases for the various sculptures have just been closed without further investigation.
well, he got, the system worked. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
I don't suppose they made sure to keep his head. He probably wasn't a life drinker.
He was a kid. Like, he grew up in that town.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things, my understanding is that while you don't age and die, you don't age. He aged. Unless he learned it in the 2 years of his pilgrimage. That is a possibility.
You make a good point. He's probably not a life drinker. We can probably say that's safely behind us. That's reassuring.
Famous last words.
Don't worry, Vesta. I'll be fine.
I can go by myself.
And on that grim reminder of death and departed comrades, the last thing on the table is like a marketing pamphlet.
Cool. What's it say?
What's it say?
It's a new invention released by Vulcan Industries. It's called the V-Ring. There's a whole like diagram and set of instructions that go with it. Judging by what you're looking at, it seems that it's something called vulcanite crystals. You recognize them from the plans for the... Sorry, I pointed in both of your directions, but Vesta recognizes them from the plans for the gates.
Okay.
This thing is just like this little gadget that's like, you touch it with like common fire, like whether you have a torch or you just channel a little bit of fire, and then it lights like a grill for about a half hour every time you light it.
Cool.
For some reason, this is something that you all notice is bizarre. There's an ad for it, but they're saying that they're sold out and that they're restocking and that they want people to back order now. Like, they're literally advertising for something that you cannot currently buy.
Trying to artificially drive up demand, I guess?
What would I have to roll to see if this is even remotely feasible as a product that could work in this universe?
I'm going to say that you start looking at it and, like, you're You look closer and you do this. You haven't flipped over the pamphlet yet, and you turn it towards Reggie, and you see on the back Vulcan Flameslinger for select investors, and there's a dude holding like basically a mechatronic flamethrower.
Well, that's definitely interesting.
Oh, what's that? It's like a... Huh. Does this guy have a military contract that we know of? Why is he...
I must say that he is very industrious to come up with all of these weird products.
Well, it doesn't... Do I know anything about these crystals? Are they commonly known, or are they sort of a thing that he's invented?
It isn't something that he's invented, but you are suspect about the name because you haven't heard it before. You might have to look through the library to find something to do with these.
Have I ever seen anything similar to a mecha flamethrower in my time?
Never anything constructed like this. Based on the capabilities advertised, this is all stuff an elementalist would do, so you're not too concerned in terms of fighting people with these, but it still seems like a really weird device to have.
Fair.
Yeah, like it's...
I mean, look on the thing. It says it has multiple settings where it's just a dart in like a wide spread. That's just your basic elemental right there.
Well, everything that he's been building is just your basic elemental magic. It's. I don't know anything about these crystals. It seems to be some sort of magical energy source, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. How could you possibly have like an inanimate object be a conduit like that? It doesn't. Oh, this hurts my head a little bit. I almost want to purchase one to see if it works, but I mean, I'm not giving them my money until I have the product. Like,
does this list a price tag on it?
They're selling for 20 gold, the V rings.
Whew.
For
20?
the 20 gold.
20 gold for, and I'm reading it again. Now it's a half hour.
Mhm.
A half hour of flame.
Every time you spark it.
Every time you spark it, it's 20 gold for a half hour.
Nope. After it goes out, you just have to spark it again.
No, right, yeah. But and this is just lighting like a little barbecue, right? Like like enough to cook over. 20 gold.
But that's for the item.
That's for the. I get that it's not a single use item, but it's still.
You could get the same effect with a little bit of wood and some flint and steel.
Precisely. Exactly. And on top of that, it's not very large. It's. I mean, energy has to come from somewhere.
Well, I guess you're just not the target audience for this particular product.
Maybe not. It seems unlikely to perform, but so it's impossible to test without a example.
I mean, yeah. Cool.
Okay.
It's getting closer to the late morning. You guys have had a chance to get a little bit of coffee or tea in you, and
have I finished the bread?
Yep, right now it's all out of the oven.
I give bread to everybody.
Reggie devours bread. No, Reggie savors bread.
This is.
You consider devouring it for.
I consider because Reggie is hungry, but Reggie wants to savor this because he's heard tale. He's heard tale that Vesta's bread is really good bread, and he never got any of the sourdough from before.
Well, you're healing 22 if you're eating it.
Ooh.
Well, provided you can heal from food at this time.
Oh, I misread the thing. I can't. Well, regardless, that is very good bread. Where'd you learn to make bread like that?
I worked as a baker before leaving.
I keep forgetting that that's not a cover story. That you actually did that. I don't. It baffles me every time.
Your merchant GF and her friends, the blacksmith and tailor, walk by in the hallway.
Well, to be fair, they weren't involved in a they weren't an active participant in a high-level serial killer takedown. They didn't start a riot in the middle of a
But can
prison.
you prove that?
I suppose no, I can't prove it, and like I'm not saying that
they
they're
didn't
lesser
even
people, but
they didn't even fight the rock hurler and Vesta. She fought an alpha bear wolf too, even.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying Vesta's feat seem outside the scope of your average baker.
And that's the best part of Vesta.
I'm just remember that
Not your average baker.
I
Yeah.
love that you're like basically statted as a mage, but that's not at all your character's image in the slightest.
no. Oh.
Yeah, like I honestly forget that you use magic. Like, genuinely, I forget.
I mean, mostly it's alchemy,
Yeah.
but then also Vesta still has a point in like an extra point in elemental, but never uses it. So I might move it somewhere else.
Might study, might refine your efforts in other
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Well, so we still don't know what this guy is planning, though, because he's building. I'm launching Brett as I'm thinking out loud, but like he's clearly building something. I don't.
What do you mean? He's building the road. You know what he's building.
He's building the road, but
I probably should be putting my evil plans face up.
I don't think it's like. Judging from the rest of this stuff, it seems to be a cash grab.
Yeah.
And I don't know that his road is going to work necessarily. I don't get what his angle is. I don't get.
Didn't we decide that it probably wouldn't?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't like. It's a scam. It's 100% a scam. He's trying to get money,
Yeah.
but why now?
What
Why
do you
suddenly
mean?
out of the blue? Like, what's his end goal here?
What do you mean? Why now?
These people are alive for years and years and years and years.
I'm sure he's been scamming before.
No, I'm sure he's been scamming before, but all the other ones are also investing in business and they're all coordinating. What are they coordinating to? It seems to me like if I were an evil organization and I had one person suddenly out of the blue start racking up money in these ridiculous, easy to disprove scams, like we'd have an end goal for that money, right? We wouldn't just be hoarding it. Like we're immortal. Like we already are very wealthy. We already have one of our members an emperor or an empress, I suppose.
To be fair, it's not like the Vulcan plan didn't work. Strictly speaking, it did. It was just one of those like, oh, really? Okay, kind of plans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Like it's. I don't know. Something about this strikes me as not being just a scam. Like there's got to be. I mean, I suppose it could be. It maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I've done that in the past, but I don't know. Something about it doesn't sit right.
I mean, yeah.
Which
no.
is why we're going to investigate further.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
But I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is, what angle do we want to investigate this in? Is it worth investigating his wacky products, these vulcanite crystals, or is it more prudent to figure out what he's trying to do with the money and assume that it's just a scam, some sort of one-off, technically, sort of on a demonstrational level, impressive technology that he's found or is innovating on, but it's not like that's not his main goal.
I've built fire walkways in Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook.
Yeah. You know, there's big trouble right here in Last Hearth. And that
Fire Arch! Fire Arch!
Thank you. I thought of that like halfway through their conversation, and I started giggling to myself.
Well, yeah, what angle do you guys want to investigate? It is kind of in your hands here.
There's always the mines.
Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm fascinated by these vulcanite crystals. I would kind of want to get to the bottom of that. Because if he has somehow figured out, maybe these crystals are very powerful, but he's trying to get money to go into a mass production of them for a different use than he's saying. I could see that potentially being an angle. And worst case scenario, if they turn out to be useless, that could be ammunition we could use to sort of halt his investments. But like I say, I might be overthinking. I'm open to ideas.
Well, one of the things we definitely need to know is the properties of these crystals.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Distantly, in the sort of quiet contemplativeness of the conversation, you hear the sounds of like across the entire manor, like just people walking, distant echoes and stuff like that.
which is why we should get some. Who's walking up there?
Get some crystals.
Yeah.
Don't you guys think that we should just
Kill him
figure out what his movements and
and kill him?
kill him?
Yes, I think that would be a great idea.
While they're talking, I'm gonna go investigate the footsteps.
Oh, like you quickly figure out that it's just the other people in this room, in this building, going about their business.
Okay.
As you come back, yeah, I think that, we probably are overthinking it. We could just track his movements and kill him. I guess my big worry was that they have some sort of larger scheme that they're collaborating on. We could get an in on that, and that would help in future investigations, but...
You're right. I don't know how much information are we going to get off of Vulcan.
Not off
if
of
they
Vulcan.
have...
But while this is all going on, it's the perfect time to get our hands on some of these crystals. And
Well, it's just one of the things that he's selling. It's not I think it's just one of his products. It's not like a huge point in the Life Drinker.
But if we get our hand in some of those crystals, we can find out what it is.
Yeah, true. I just don't really
and
have...
then we'll be better prepared for when we do.
I just don't really have 20 gold to just throw over.
Oh, I'm not saying we
spend
20 gold.
No.
I'm saying we steal some from the mine.
Oh, I see.
Well, this presumes you know where the mine is.
Yeah.
They are looking for volunteers. And going to a mine voluntarily always works out, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of already done the whole go to a mine and work there for a little while thing.
Mm.
And how'd that work out for you?
I ended up on a prisoner ship.
Yeah, that was kind of a whole thing.
That sounds like a not good time.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Our end goal, regardless of what he's doing, we want him dead and his head in a box. Although we do have a lot of resources at our disposal. I mean, we have a lot of people. We want to do this cautiously. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to send some people to the mine to get some crystals. It'll all focus the majority of our efforts on.
I mean, the three of you are kind of the inner circle. You've got a bunch of allies you could ask for help and send off to do whatever errands you need done.
I need some sneaky people to start tracking his movements.
All right.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
So we're going to send Reggie, Absolution,
Yep.
Albjorn, and Trunk. Oh, and Steelfist. Steelfist is the epitome of down low.
Now, don't discredit Steelfist. I think that he can be pretty down low when the situation calls for it.
Really? No one's calling me out on epitome?
I thought you made a new friend.
What is this, the hyperbole?
You're trying to use a big word. I thought you had made a new friend.
No, because we always call you out when you use words incorrectly. So I used...
I don't know the definition of that word.
Epitome is the correct word, but the way it's spelt is epitome.
Oh, I just assumed that epitome was a word I didn't know. I was like, yeah, nodding along.
Damn it, that's what happens when you say stuff with confidence. No one calls you out on it.
Well, yeah, and you did it so flawlessly. My stupid brain overrode it as epitome.
Really?
Yeah, I heard epitome.
I was just like, word. They'll just keep going.
I think it's a real personal problem where if I think I know what someone's going to say, I think my brain just says it before them, and then I stop listening. You know? Like, so you were like, he's the blue. And I'm like, yeah, epitome of stealth or whatever. Yeah, and moving on, thinking about Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or...
That is how my mind works.
Yeah.
That's not at all how mine
You mean
works.
detours through Power Rangers?
Yeah, everything ends up detouring and coming back through Power Rangers.
So anyway, could you imagine trying to propose to someone but by way of Power Rangers?
So Tommy and Kimberly's relationship didn't work out, but I hope ours does forever.
What?
You open the ring, and then it like goes through like a 2-minute sequence.
Oh, that'd be fun if you had a tiny little 6-year-old kid when he puts on a blue suit and then it becomes a ring.
Yeah.
You assume like Power Rangers meme, I know. I do think that's the worst reaction if you propose to someone, they go, wait, what?
Yeah, being surprised is probably not the sort of thing you want to have on a proposal.
Well, surprise is good, but them being confusion. Confusion is the one.
Yeah,
We were
like
going out?
Yeah.
A certain amount of surprise is good. Like
Yes.
surprise, like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting this right now.
Yeah.
It's good.
surprise, like someone sneaking up on you and shooting you with an airsoft gun in an airsoft arena. Not like surprise, like somebody's like sneaking up on you and shooting an airsoft gun at you, like in the
Yeah.
grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Chelsea's words, oh wow, I wasn't expecting this right now, and oh wow, I was not expecting this right now.
Yeah. It's, oh, I was expecting this any time now. The anticipation was driving me nuts. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know why you talked about Power Rangers for 5 minutes.
Speaking of anticipation driving people nuts, how y'all want to investigate?
I think Vester's right. I think we should tail him. And
Sneaky people to track his movements for a few days, I think.
yep, and I think that
Um,
sending one or two of our more sticky fingered inclined to that does not sound right to take a
What are you
crystal.
saying about me? I am Tortugan, but we don't have sticky fingers.
What did you?
Are your fingers?
You were
not
looking
sticky?
directly at me when you said that. I don't understand.
You seem very defensive. Is there something, perhaps some literature that you're workshopping with that sort of adjective?
No.
You guys are still in the dining room. The double doors that lead to the hall, where in the background there's a bunch of people fighting, like they open up and Steelfish just goes, "Who's doing the racism?"
It wasn't a racism. It's Steelfist. Do you want to steal some shit?
Yeah. He walks into the room.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of a vulcanite crystal?
Nope.
Me neither.
Do you want one?
Sure.
Great. If we think there's a mine somewhere that is mining them.
Great. That's just fine.
I mean, I know that your mining experience wasn't the best, but at the same time,
Well, strictly speaking, my mining experience was just fine. It was the rest of the employment.
right.
I'm actually quite a good miner, I'll have you know.
I believe it. I'm not questioning your credentials. That's the reason that I think you're perfect for this job. And I show him the brochure.
What, like, you want me to steal a flamethrower?
I mean, if you could, that'd be amazing. But the crystals are what's powering the flamethrower. We think.
I mean, why wouldn't I just steal the whole flamethrower?
Because I don't think they actually exist. I think that he made one or two so that he could show them off, and now he's selling people on the concept that they might get a flamethrower.
Wait, so do you want me to steal a thing that doesn't exist?
No, I want you to steal the crystals from the mine. But if you find a flamethrower, by all means, take it.
Okay, well, where's the mine?
And that's kind of phase 0 of this plan. We're gonna have to figure that out. So this might be a job sort of in the future once we locate the mine. But at the same time, I don't think that'll take too long because he's sort of getting people to volunteer for mine duty. So someone will probably know.
Good talk.
Good chat. Good chat.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're...
So okay.
Yeah,
so-
we'll keep you posted. You can
Should-
you can go.
All right.
You can go back.
Steelfist leaves the room.
Okay,
Okay.
I think I distracted him with the racism.
Oh. Okay, anyway, so I think what we need to do is we need to have people tailing Vulcan figure out his movements, see his day-to-day stuff. Like, where is he going to be?
Yeah.
Figure out any big events that he might be attending in the near future.
Yep. Intel.
Intel. We need people figuring out where this mine is for these crystals. I don't know exactly why you want these crystals, but we can have some. Even you can do that. Ask around people.
Yeah, sure.
Find out where the mine is. We can send people over to the mine, depending on how far away it is. Try to steal some of these crystals. We might need two separate teams for the Vulcan tailing. One doing the intel, trying to figure out big events, and one figuring out his day-to-day activities.
Well, I've already attended a meeting as an investor. That might be a good way to get close.
Yeah.
And it could be a good way to get a flamethrower.
And it could be a good way to get a flamethrower if they exist.
True.
Now I am not super great at the lying and the deceiving and the hey, are you hunting down blood killers? No, I'm not. That's sort of my big fear right now is
Okay, bring somebody with you.
who do we have that's good at interacting with people and sort of selling them a yarn?
Corvo.
Well, no, we can't use Corvo. Corvo cannot be an investor.
I feel like Corvo is sort of almost the most valuable person here because without him, we wouldn't have an entire underground network sending us information.
Corvo walks up to Lord Vulcan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do have a flamethrower here for example purposes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, I don't know. So, who has the best social skills?
Bea, Elwal,
Vesta.
Vesta.
Yeah, I could be an investor, I guess.
And invest.
Investa.
You tried.
Investor.
So me and you could go
Sure, yep.
walk. But I'm kind of... No, it can't be me.
Oh?
They know who I am.
Oh, they super know who you are.
They super know who I am.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. He's never seen you.
No, but my description is out there.
It is a bit of a risk.
Bought a different dress. Wear that one.
To be fair, the last time they saw you, it was very hot out, so you had a blue dress, and now it's cold out, so you're back to the pink one, presumably.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like a whole different item of clothing.
Yeah.
Impossible to spot.
Impossible.
Just put on some glasses, and you'll be...
Call
one will be
yourself
able to
Clark Kent, and you're good.
Say you have a degree in journalism. Nobody will ask any questions.
Yeah, carry a clipboard.
I guess I could talk to Edelwald about it.
Yeah, I guess this is why I was wearing a mask the whole time, and now I've kind of surrendered them to a group of people tracking us.
That wasn't a smart idea.
No, it wasn't. Wasn't the smartest, but
I mean, that was kind of a fluke.
it was kind of a fluke, and also kind of sort of the kind of only way forward through a sort of a dark place. So, I mean,
I drew a good card when I found your masks.
yeah, yeah, that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Milton.
Yeah, man, that was that was you.
Actually, it was Chet.
All you need to do is add actually...
Actually?
Actually, I think you'll find that it was Chet
Yeah.
that did that, and
So you guys are hitting the town, putting your ears on the ground to take it, trying to figure out...
I need to talk to Edelwald real quick.
All right. Edelwald's out in the hall. You have to sort of skirt your way the long way around a bunch of people fighting in the middle, and then you get to the end where he's there stitching some things together.
I asked Edelwald if it's if he can make me look like a different person. Yeah. Like pretty distinctly not Vesta.
Yes, we could do a haircut. We could do some dyes. I've got a couple of dresses I've got in my repertoire we could change out of.
Okay.
I'd need to alter in room for the sleeves, but that's not too hard to do.
Okay. Yeah. I think we could do that.
I don't know why, but when you mentioned dyes, I just pictured like Vesta with like rainbow colored ear fur.
Oh my god.
Would that be a thing? Like, is being edgy like a thing?
You turn your head like 30 degrees, and the group of people sparring, you see Rollins, who has like a teal mohawk and like metal armor with spikes on it and like black leather.
Oh, okay. Rollins is edgy.
Rollins is very edgy.
Yeah.
Salus was pretty edgy too.
Well, Salus was edgy in like a I don't bathe sort of way.
He bathed.
He's like, yeah.
Rollins is edgy in a real katana way. Salus was edgy in a mall katana way.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was, because he was just a guy who worked for the government that had a chain.
Making fun of my characters.
No, I'm not.
I'm taking this personally. This is an attack. He was real edge, alright? He was real edge.
Oh, man.
He was real edge in his own way.
Yeah, he wasn't like the guy who has a store-bought katana that when threatened just flails it wildly.
Mm-hmm. That's
He
true.
was like,
Oh my god.
he might have had a store-bought katana, but he fucking knew how to use it, alright?
Yeah.
I have a really strong image in my head of someone who like joined the Coast Guard and like brings a katana with them to work every day.
Like, there was at the mall, there was a katana that I always saw, and I was waiting for the day someone would purchase it because it had the biohazard symbol as a crossguard, and it was like lime green with like disease smeared across it, and like I made a whole OC around a guy that bought that and tried to fight crime, but like just wearing sweatpants and a wife beater, and like this katana. It's like, I call myself the virus. No, wait, the bacteriophage, and you can never come up with a name, and you just ran around like.
Imagine being an archaeologist many years from now and trying to identify why we have so many like anachronistic but really, really specifically stylized weapons.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, man.
pink katanas and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, oh.
I hate to say it, but if I saw that in an HMV when I was a teenager, I would have so wanted it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with wanting... Hey, listen, we've had some fun here. There's nothing wrong with buying a store-bought katana from the mall.
Let me just check and see if I still have something.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. You're allowed to do whatever you want. You're allowed to have interests and hobbies and do silly things, but it's not a sword. It's not that scary sword that you can swing around.
And if you're a weeb, we disapprove of your lifestyle.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to come out and say, hey, weebs, but like...
But I'm gonna come up and say
No, I'm not going to say that. I mean...
They're just the easiest group to throw under the bus.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, I don't have it anymore.
Oh, thank God.
I used to have a lime green and like neon green and black ski jacket that it was a skull candy jacket.
Ooh.
And the reason why we bought it had skull candy like logo
Yeah.
all around it.
Ooh.
And on the arm, you could plug in your iPod to it and plug it into speakers and control it on your arm. And I thought it was the coolest fucking technology I have ever seen. And I used it all of ski club.
Meanwhile,
There you
could
go.
you imagine being like an adult ski instructor and like seeing some kid with basically like a Nintendo Power Glove on his ski jacket, just being like, from the adult perspective, that must be the weirdest thing of being like, that's so not cool, but that's also kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I modified it a little bit because like you were supposed to put like headphones in and blast on the headphones, but my sister had really shitty speakers, and so I
were that kid.
I was that kid. Only at ski club though. Only
Okay.
when I was going down the ski hill.
Okay.
I would never do that like actually walking around. I'm not that kid. But like on the ski hill when we were going down with friends, it was just like
Rolling
blasting.
around at the speed of sound.
Not gonna lie, it was Journey Don't Stop Believing.
Of course. Of course.
Yes! Yes!
Now that I've thoroughly embarrassed myself, how about we move on?
Well, don't fear, because there's nothing more embarrassing than watching Gabe try to ski.
Oh, that was another one. Don't fear the Reaper.
I can't shit talk you. We had the same playlist.
Yeah. No, and I'd just be going down the hill being like, oh, I need to turn.
Don't stop. Just now we're gonna like the annoying thing when someone keeps cycling through songs like one fat, and then it's just like you finally settle on a song for like 30 seconds and then go to the next one.
And then I'm at the end of the hill, so I pause it because I don't want to be an asshole while we're sitting in line. Because like I knew it was a dick move, but like there's literally no one around me, and I'm going so fast downhill that no one else can hear it, other than like a.
I know you say this, but could you imagine like you're going up a ski lift and there's some kid who has speakers that are actually just echoing over the entire mountain towards the lift?
Man, that's pretty powerful. Like,
The image of me was powerful. I might have a thing in a yearbook that I can show you guys after this. Actually, no, I definitely have an image in a yearbook that I can show you guys after this.
I wish I saved more cringy images of myself as a teen. They were quality.
I bought my final high school yearbook because I was like, maybe 20 years from now, I'll want to have this. But I do remember that year, I was like, I don't want to buy it. What a waste of money, you know? But I am happy I have it now.
yeah, I bought my yearbook, but one of my best friends didn't get their dang photo in the yearbook.
Ugh.
So it's like, well, dang.
I was on the yearbook committee.
Yeah. I mean, also, I don't think there's a picture of it in the yearbook, thank God. But I used to wear like a tie, but with a t-shirt with like no collar. So I thought that'd be fun. And it was really fun, man. I had a blast. But like,
Oh yeah, there was like an entire year where I genuinely wore a bandana as like a little neckerchief.
yeah, you gotta try these things out so that when you're an adult, you're like, hey kid, you're being dumb, and like I'm telling you this because I love you.
Well, also because like it's one of those like badge of pride things. Like when you're an adult, it isn't a cringe experience anymore. It's almost like a scar, but instead of like a physical scar, it's an emotional one.
The scars that my dad was like, yeah, dude, go for it.
I can't tell if that's love or sadism.
I have no idea. I'm like, you'd have to meet my dad. He's just a wild dude, and like not in like a wild way, but in like a I don't know. He's just a goofball, you know.
Speaking of goofballs, we still haven't like decided on a plan and left the building.
Plan. I will get a haircut and a different outfit and be an investor by a different name. I will be Mila. Not the baker.
Not the baker.
Not the baker. Well, last name is
Mila.
Kunis.
Mealswell. Wait, shit, that's just Baker, but different. Mealswell.
Mila cooking good.
Who's that really rich family name?
Trump?
Rockefeller?
Rockefeller.
Oh.
Mila Rockefeller.
I was Benny, so... Benny, I think I was Benny... I don't think I
Vesta
gave a last
comes
name.
out with like black dyed fur and a black and white checkered suit.
Yes!
A little poker chip going, hey kid.
What in the goddamn?
It's a powerful image.
Okay, yeah. So people, we need a group of people tailing to find day-to-day activities of Mr. Man. We need a group that is figuring out where the mine is. And then once we figure out where the mine is, we need a group of people that go to the mine and get the crystals. And then me and Henny are going to be investors.
All right.
So me and Henny can't be in the other groups.
Well,
We're spoken for it.
they definitely want Steelfist and I for the mines.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Although you don't know where they are. You might want to try and actually identify where these guys source that stuff first.
Yeah. we're gonna have to do
Which
that.
is step 1.
Yeah.
Just step 1.
We'll just pretend like we're people with no money that are looking for work. It's not that unbelievable.
Yeah, and then we could get the sneakier boys, like
And Wilfred's-
Elmira is pretty sneaky. Who else
Elmira's
is
very
really
sneaky.
sneaky?
Johnstone's sneaky enough. He's more the resourceful kind of sneaky. You were correct in assessing that Steelfist is sneaky. Rollins isn't sneaky, he's just small. It's an important distinction.
Yeah, okay, well, we could get Elmira and Johnstone to kind of get the day-to-day movements, maybe. So me and Henny are going to figure out big events, do some socialiting, talking to people, doing the smoozing, and then could get you and Steelfist.
Looking for a job?
No, Steelfist. I didn't see you there in the shadows.
That wasn't the Steelfist voice. That was me just saying looking for a job.
Oh, I thought that was Steelfist.
No, it's to figure out where the mine is.
Yeah.
And then once you figure out where the mine is, to go to the mine and steal the shit.
Yes.
And then everybody else. Do we have anything else that needs to be done?
I mean, like, the place needs to be defended. That's kind of our...
Yeah, place needs to be defended. So we'll leave like Elbjorn, Trunk. Corvo can stay here because he's, he needs to be down low.
Yeah, also, we don't want them to go stir crazy. So, like, I don't know. I mean, we work here to sell goods.
Yeah.
Like,
But the merchants can sell their own goods. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, like...
Yeah, let's leave Elbjorn, Absolution, Trunk, Corvo here. And I believe that's everybody, isn't it? And everybody has a job.
All I'm saying is that I think that the people who are left behind to guard the house should maybe leave the house sometimes as a treat. I mean, I know if I was told to stay in the house, I would stay
you guys
inside.
have been here since like last night.
Yeah, like, we're not getting cabin fever.
I'm just saying. We gotta be prepared in case it happens.
Like, you're right, but, like, they can guard the house for a few days, It's fine.
They can organize house rotations amongst themselves.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
They can figure that out. I
Okay.
trust them.
Okay.
They're smart people.
Okay.
Okay, we've decided.
We have a plan.
That's what's happening.
Okay, Edelwald wants to know what color you want to dye your fur.
What's another very common hair color for a...
Well, you're like a light brownish gray, right?
Yeah.
Could always go for like a darkish brown red.
Sure, sounds good.
Purple.
That's not a common color.
Oh.
Neon green and black.
And the skull candy
With
logo.
the Skull Candy logo all down your arm.
I want to disguise and I'll get a tattoo.
All right. Also, what are you wearing?
Something different than from what I usually wear.
Edelwald has a pantsuit he could probably tailor together.
Sounds good.
It's beige. It's very pantsuit vibes.
I need very... The vibes I'm going for is very... I'm a rich person that... I'm really interested in your company. What you doing vibes,
Yeah.
Like, I'm rich, but, like...
I'm rich. Woo me.
Woo me.
Yeah, I have the money you want. Come
What?
get it.
Yeah. Like, you come talk to me vibes. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a bit overdone, but we could do a red dress, something like that. Some fake pearls.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Edelwald gets to work.
I was just gonna go in sweatpants. You're really thinking this through.
Why would you? How would anybody believe you that you were a rich investor? If you
It's
go in
it's that
sweatpants?
big dick energy of you just don't even need to care.
The Adam Sandler.
The Adam Sandler.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have the cloak on, and the cloak is, it's not a shabby cloak, but it's
You
Not
just wear
fancy.
an okay cloak, go to the Oscars,
Yeah.
film another movie as an excuse for you to take a vacation somewhere.
Yeah. So now,
Invite all your friends.
if you put Badam Sandler as a life drinker in this goddamn campaign,
So okay, so I'm in another D&D campaign,
Mm.
and the person who's the person who's GMing they're not very good at thinking of names, and so they've been using the higher ups in the company we work for as the names for all of the people in the campaign.
Man, that's gonna get real awkward when you're just like, so then I killed John. John Johnson, I killed him, and then John just like pokes his head like, what the fuck are you talking
You mean my team lead?
I've 100% had bosses that would have been excellent D&D villains.
But yeah, like the CEO, he's in there.
about? Great.
Good shit.
Anyway,
So after a little while, you emerge out of the bathroom having dyed yourself a darker color. You got sort of reddish hues now. This should wear off in a couple weeks by the time you're leaving Last Hearth, but you'll be stuck with this for a little bit.
cool.
All right, Mila.
Yeah, Mila. Rockefeller.
The dress is going to take a little while, but after waiting for some last-minute alterations, it gets thrown together. It's the sort of thing that's reasonably simple and slim, but then there's this ridiculous, ostentatious, like, fox cloak that Edelwald pulls out of a trunk somewhere and goes with it.
Nice.
To keep warm.
To keep warm.
okay, so I think our cover is you are Mila
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. I am Benny Bonnet Bottom. And
Benny Bottom.
yes.
That
And
sounds like a name. That
It
sounds
does.
like a good name.
you're the wealthy investor, and I am your financial advisor.
Didn't you say you were an investor before?
Yeah, I was investigating this investment opportunity on behalf of my
Okay.
beneficiary, Mila.
Okay. Sure.
All right, you guys are suited up and ready to blend in for the next investors meeting, whenever that might be. What's Reggie's plan now that you've united with Steelfist? You're figuring out where this mine is somehow, somewhere in this town.
Go into the middle of town. There's got to be some like denotion of sign up here.
Turns out it doesn't take long. Presumably you don't hop onto your wagon for like haphazard investigation. So you just open the doors into the street and you turn a little bit and walk a little ways, and of all things there's a couple of kids. Like not kids, like 14-year-olds, but they're all gathered around outside of someone else's house. Seems like they've got one of these V-ring things set up right there. You loudly hear one of the kids exclaim that it's in brazier mode.
Ooh.
I can just picture this little snot-nosed kid going, "It's in brazier mode!"
No, Dad! Like the first kids to get hoverboards.
Yeah. Saw a guy on a hoverboard when they were first coming out, just on the street, just going back and forth, trying to do hoverboard tricks, but you can't really do it, so you just get one wheel up on the curb and one in the road, and I'm like driving, and I'm like, hey bud, like, like I get it's a quiet street, but like you're in the middle of the downtown, just going in circles. Like, there's a parking lot right there, I'm begging you. Didn't even move. You just had to go around them.
We stigmatized segways so badly, and then we got rid of the stick, and somehow we're okay with them for a year.
We were never okay with them.
You know the inventor of the Segway died testing an all-terrain Segway.
Did he?
Yeah,
Is that true?
Yeah.
Or is that like an Onion article?
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Sounds like an Onion article.
It does sound like
it
an
does.
Onion article, and that's the best part. If it is real, then that's just amazing.
So as you sit there musing about articles about onions for some reason, you notice that these kids have extinguished it and they're switching it into another mode. They're switching it to gorilla mode. As it's shut down, you manage to get close enough that you can get a good look at it. Looks like it's got all those little crystals set up and everything. There's like a stand they swap out, and then this is something you guys would all know how to do. one of the kids just walks up and goes, shk, shk, and he makes a little spark, and it lights the ring, just like that, and it stays lit.
Whisper to Steelfist, I don't suppose we could just punch the kids and take it.
Now, when you say the word could,
I mean should. Hanny would be very mad at us if we did that. But
we could find someone we're more comfortable punching.
that's fair. I don't want to just leave this opportunity.
This opportunity, these kids playing on a street.
Fine opportunity.
Hey, we're at war here.
If this was GTA, they'd already be run over.
But you're like right outside the house. Like you just stepped outside the door and kids.
Walk up. Mine now.
And later.
Walks in the house.
Sorry, I thought it was the newspaper. Oh, my bad. Oh,
My bad. Oh, God. As they light it up, I'm just gonna walk up to them and go, "No, what is that you got there?"
As if you don't know, it's the Vulcan V-Ring. It's the newest technology. How do you not even know about it? Vulcan's like the biggest thing.
New to town. Been traveling for a little while.
They sort of look at each other and laugh at nothing.
Okay, you guys have a nice day. Enjoy your V whatever.
It's the V-Ring. It's the latest of technology. It's going to revolutionize the entirety of the world.
Yeah, and I doubt you'll lose your V card. Now moving
Okay.
on.
Jesus.
You're gonna say that to 14-year-olds?
Do
They're dishing it out.
Do you want our house to be egged?
I'm expecting to come back and Trunk just has these kids. And it's just like, they assaulted the house.
No, with Trunk, he'd be like, oh, it's just kids being kids.
Well, you continue down the street after harassing some teenagers. You make your way past an intersection, turn off a little ways, and end up in a plaza of sorts. Here, there's a small fountain that's been put together, which is ballsy in this weather. But it seems to have not frozen over completely, so that's something. It's pretty chilly here in the open areas that are meant to be more outside-ish. But there's a couple of people around, and some of them seem to be around like a demo stand for these V-Ring things.
Well, one place to investigate, I suppose.
Yeah, you see that there's two people who look like they're laborers who are just sort of sitting waiting for something. You're not sure. There's someone who's a demonstrator at the actual stand showing people. There's a lot of people around, but it seems like a lot of them have already seen it and are like kind of hanging around talking. There's not really a line for you to get up there and take a look yourself.
You just force through and just kind of, what's this?
This is the Vulcan V-Ring, the latest in the greatest of creations from Vulcan Enterprises.
What's it do?
Well, we mix together all the wonders of science, creativity, analysis, and motivation to bring you the latest technologies.
Ambition, motivation, technology.
You get a description more or less of what the product does. The V-Ring is named as such because there's a ring and then there's a V. The V is like an iron thing that moves up and down along like telescoping rods, and the ring itself has all those little vulcanite crystals on them. When they're lit, they stay lit for a half hour unless you deliberately extinguish them. And it switches between 3 modes. When it's just flat, it's called fire mode, and it's just like a little campfire basically. You can put it up so that it's not so close to the ground, and that's brazier mode. And then if you pull the iron thing on top, then that's grill mode. And you're able to put like a pot on it It doesn't seem like a good place to put a pot, but you understand like the novelty of it.
Yeah. And what are these things that are making the flames?
These are the latest of technologies, recently unearthed from some of the most remote places on the planet. This is vulcanite. This unique mineral is, when sparked, it stays lit for almost a half hour when properly resourced. And every day we're working on making these things even better processed to make them last longer with even a smaller spark. Isn't that fantastic?
Well, yeah, it means that people who can't use magic will always have some way to create fire.
Exactly. This is the value that we get.
Reggie just thinking back to just, what do you know?
I love that Reggie is a very old man in this case. Like,
I like that Reggie's idea of sleuth is to just not understand technology.
I didn't realize what an old man Reggie was until he had to interact with children and new technology.
You grew up being like, man, adults being like, what's a Twitter? So cringe. And then being like, man, adults being like, what's a Snapchat? So cringe. And now I'm like, what's a TikTok? I have become what I have so long feared.
See, my problem is that I'm not like, what's a TikTok? I'm like, oh, TikTok is a conspiracy from China to get over your face for their facial recognition systems. It's of the devil.
Don't be ridiculous. Those are Facebook quizzes.
Oh, God.
You are summarily informed that courage, unity, leadership, technology, that's why we can work together to create a better future with Vulcan technologies. You're given pamphlets upon pamphlets. One of them is advertisement for an investors meeting, and the other one is... Sorry, there's three. One of them is the investors meeting. Another one is seeking laborers for the construction process up north. And the last one is just like... Really, it's just Vulcan propaganda. It's all about the Unity Pass, and the more you read it, the more you realize it's the same words over and over.
Now, this construction project up north, what's that for again?
Right, that's for the Vulcan Unity Pass. These same crystals, the Vulcanite crystals, are used to power gateways that we've been constructing to try to make our way through the legendary ice wall in the north. No longer will we have to make those insane long trips around the world. It'll be so quick and easy to just go there. I mean, isn't it wild seeing the maps and seeing how tantalizingly close the far northern shore is? Imagine if it was right next to our doorstep.
Yeah. Wow.
I am channeling so much of my customer service energy right now.
And I like that me trying to think of a response just comes off as old man.
You are old man.
I am old man in this case. Yeah. How much do these V-ring things cost?
Well, normally they're 20 gold, and they're on back order because almost all of them have been bought up already by savvy customers. But today only, we've got a raffle that we're going to be drawing off at the end of the day for someone to win one of these special V-rings.
Well, I certainly will be interested. I know I can't afford 20 gold.
Of course. Here's the ballot. You should be able to put it right in the box and fill it out and be on your way. Or you can sit around and talk about the many wonders that we have on offer.
Reggie writes Reg and puts it into the pamphlet.
Reg.
Just Reg.
Man.
And then he goes, thank you, I'm gonna give these a...
You're halfway through saying that when Steelfist motions for you and he just goes...
Now, I see on the pamphlet that, I was gonna read it over, but I see on first glance that, they're looking for laborers up north. Do you know how much they pay?
So, as you say this and you lean back and, half listen to information, you see Steelfist by the ballot box and... Steelfist?
Oh no! What is... That's like. Does he know? Does he know how raffles work?
And then you see Steelfist removing other people's names.
Ooh.
Well, you bluff for a little while longer, and you get some information about the construction project. They're looking for people like you, big, strong, and ready to engage in all sorts of things, really. They're deliberately vague. They talk about needing everything from porters to builders to mechanics to alchemists to fire mages.
And if I work here long enough, who knows? Maybe one day I'll be able to afford a V-ring if the raffle doesn't work out. But hey, fingers crossed, eh?
Absolutely. It's just now, after Steelfist has put in like 40 of his own name into the ballot box, that you notice that all the people who are gathered around here, like, they are just kind of sitting there talking about this Vulcan stuff. A few of them actually have like shirts with like the Vulcan logo on them.
Huh.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna mull these over some more. And you're here all day, right? Because of the raffle. So if I have any questions, I'll just come
Absolutely.
back, right? Okay. Cool. Excellent.
Change of time.
It's on the latter half of noon now. You've gathered a bit of information, and you're not far from home when you guys have finished your various dyeing and tailoring and changing of costumes. You have assumed your top secret identities.
Mila Rockefeller.
Benny Bottoms.
Bonnet Bottom.
Bottom. That's, yep.
Benny Bonnet Bottom.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason why Reg is not going with you. Just insult Vulcan.
There's a dinner that's supposed to be happening tonight, as far as you can tell. There's some of them being held, like, rotating out every few nights. You just happen to have gone right at the right day for this.
Whew.
You've got a little bit more time to prepare if there's anything else you want to do, but no, it'll be there. All the hobnobbing and rubbing of fancy shoulders.
Yeah, nothing else that I want to do.
Does the knave benefit still let me hide knives on my person? Or is that...
Yep.
Okay, I'm hiding knives on my person.
You got a few extras.
Just in case.
All right. You take some time to stretch. You do that awkward thing, like, before an event when you fully, like, gussied yourself up, but you still have, like, a half hour before you have to go anywhere, so you just, like...
Kind of sit there.
Yeah,
like,
you're
fully
just,
done
like...
up. Yeah.
Like, you're sitting there, like, watching TV in a full suit, just being like, yep.
Yep.
And you head off. Meanwhile, have you been going around town looking for anything else?
Just kind of wandering, probably people watching more than anything else.
Old man
This same,
sits on
like...
the street corner.
Old man
Yeah.
sits on a bench with a cane and just kind of...
Yells at Cloud.
Old man yells at cloud.
Old man yells at Fire Cloud.
As you walk around, you hear that a couple of different people, like, some of them have these V-ring things, but there's also a lot of these raffles and these, like, mobs of people all just talking about this Vulcan thing. Eventually, you cycle back to the same spot a little while before the raffle is set to start. Meanwhile, you guys have filtered your way into the investors meeting after... Actually, no, not after. We should be rolling some deception rolls to bluff with those names.
Now, hold on
Okay.
a second, though, because as we're walking, how did you make your money? How do you make your millions?
How do I make my millions?
Yeah.
It's in the family.
It's in the family? Right.
Ooh, dumb, like inheritant kid.
Yeah,
Yes,
my
okay.
parents, they own some land up north, and
Land up north, got it. And
Yeah.
I am someone you hired to help you invest that money to make even more money.
you're my assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do all the stuff for me that I don't want to do.
Right. Of course. Everything. But you do most of the talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're good. We're settled.
13 for deception.
All right. You bluff up some names. They don't have a list. They're more just like sussing you up, basically.
Mhm.
They don't recognize you, and they do recognize you from previously, and
Hello.
you managed to make your way in. Here it seems like this whole dinner is, it's all being done using this V-ring thing. And there's another whole room off to the side where people are being given their flamethrowers. You guys here see that, like, in brazier mode, all these things are, like, in corners of the room lighting it. In a few different areas, there's, like, people, like, caterers making food on them in grill mode. There's people gathering around them for heat and fire mode. There's all sorts of people talking and schmoozing. You don't see Vulcan quite yet. It's only after you've made your way around the crowd that you see that there's a mezzanine above that you don't see a direction up to, where he's just sitting there talking to a handful of people nearby him.
Okay. Well, I don't think we should go for Vulcan right away.
No, absolutely
I
not.
think we should chat up the people who are here.
Sure.
Get some information, see what they're thinking.
Sure. How long has it been since we've been here? Has it been at least a half hour? Because I'm checking to see how often they relight these things.
It hasn't been a half hour yet.
We just got here.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You notice that when they go out, like, if anything, they draw attention to it, and they get one of the investors to be the one to, like that whole thing.
Huh. I mean, it seems to work as advertised. It's just...
As you're looking it over, you hear in the background some people talking to each other, and you go, yes, a competent man, I tell you. Having had dinner with him twice already, I'm assured that he's got only the best things in plan. What should always be... And you see that there's, like, this big blustery, like, Volpe talking to a group of people going, yes, blathering about some sort of stuff. Before too long, you hear him specifically mention those words that you keep hearing again and again. Courage, unity, leadership, technology. This guy seems to really be buying into it, as are all the rest. In particular, he mentions that you gotta have clout and you gotta have energy to really appeal to Vulcan. It's not just about investing, it's about proving that you're there with him.
Courage, unity, leadership, technology.
Well,
Man,
you
the
got
C-U-L-T.
Hang on a second. C-U-L-T.
Good job on catching that. I didn't catch that.
Huh. That almost...
That spells cult. I don't know. What are you looking at?
Wait, hold the... That's a... That's a... Whoo! I'm kind of losing my composure here at this dinner party when you whisper that to me.
It's then at another conversation nearby when you hear people going, I mean, it's the wonders of technology that make this happen, right? That's what happens when we get together, right? That's what industry is, really. It's about science, creativity, analysis, and motivation. That's what brings us together.
I'm sorry. What was? I didn't catch that last part. Science, creativity,
analysis, motivation.
Huh.
I was doing this for an entire session and you didn't notice.
Sorry, we were basking in just the absolute, like, charisma.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable that like it almost sort of violates some of the known laws of sort of how we understood energy to work. It's pretty top of the line stuff.
It's really, really great.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, I mean, that's the best part. As you, like, roll deceive again.
10.
10. You know how to play guys like this like a fiddle. You're like, yeah, it's really great. And the guy turns right towards you and goes, yeah, it's wild. Like, it's the sort of thing that you wouldn't think would happen. And really, it's like a niche kind of permutation that makes things work.
Absolutely.
Roll with your social score, like your science skill.
Okay. I guess I'll keep that one as a 3. 12.
You hear the distinct sounds of someone repeating something they have heard that they don't truly understand.
Yeah, I mean it's a yeah.
You think he doesn't communicate this at all. He says some fluff that makes him sound really smart, which you see through immediately.
Mhm.
But it seems like what he's saying for the most part is the same conclusion that you came to, which is, I mean, it works. It's just kind of a lot.
Mhm.
Like, it's a very finicky, expensive, and difficult to manage project that's kind of at the limits of what you would reasonably put together.
But considering that this is such a new technology as a prototype, like the future could hold anything.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's all about having the sort of gusto to jump into it.
Mm-hmm. All 4 feet forward, and I nudge you.
Yes.
Because you have the
So,
Eyes glazed.
That's why I brought you along.
so
You're my assistant.
as you guys sort of like duck behind a curtain to squabble about false hierarchies between you guys during this secret identity kerfuffle, you and Steelfist have circled back to the same spot as they've drawn the raffle, and it turns out 40 Steelfist names happens to work out. He saunters up and grabs it, and sure enough, it's with like, it comes with all sorts of things. There's a book with like Vulcan drawn on it, and it's like Vulcan, Rise of Ideas. You're not sure what the book is about. There's also this long technical guide that's like this thick, although you quickly realize that that's just cardstock and gloss images, and it's actually not that big of a technical guide, but it's about the V-Ring, and of course, you won a V-Ring!
Oh my god, I have never won anything in my life.
He didn't win it.
Yeah,
Steelfist won it.
Steelfist won it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you won it.
Yeah.
Well, no, hang on.
Congratulations, Steelfist. I'm sure this is just so exciting for you.
Well, you know what they say, laugh is fair.
That is so true. I just have to wait for the next raffle, and it'll be mine for sure next time.
So what are we going to do with this thing anyhow?
Oh, take it back and take out the crystals and experiment. See
True.
what Henny has to think about this entire thing.
Speaking of which, you guys are in the investors meeting when the man himself makes his way downstairs. He seems to be there ready to mingle with people.
I have whispered to Henny to stop talking.
Nope. Ping. I'm in keen observation mode. I'm making notes.
You're looking around and you see all the banners that have the words listed on them, and the words just form as like cult, scam.
Yeah, that's. Whew. He's kind of being bold with it.
So you manage to get closer, and you, just like many times you have in this meeting, you get there in the middle of a conversation where this guy's blabbering about the strategy. Of course, with a good follower base, you don't need to do that. It's all about the word of mouth and making sure that people know, because no one's going to trust you if you go there and you just market by telling people what they want. It's people need their friends to tell them what they know about it. It's about making sure that it's people who people trust that give them the ideas for the marketing.
The connections.
He turns towards you. Exactly, yes. I'm sure you have known my name. This is my dinner, but yours?
I'm Mila.
Mila, good for me meeting you.
Yes, absolutely. I've been hearing some great things about all the stuff that you've been doing.
Oh, of course. Thank you. It's difficult getting this kind of enterprise running, but that's the sort of thing that, you got to do. It's all about the micromanaging.
Yes.
Making sure you have your fingers in there getting things working.
Exactly, yes. Like, we put in lots of hard work into this to get this going, and it's looking really great.
And he turns to you, and he does, like, he puts his hand on his shoulder, and ooh, secret messages.
just something for Henny to think about.
Is this cursed?
I just wrote something I was hoping Henny could say out loud. You know, it's all about friendship, understanding, connections, kinship.
I have been forbidden to speak.
But yeah, Vulcan turns towards you. He puts a hand on your shoulder, and your eyes lock for a moment. And he goes, "It's almost enthralling. It's good to see you. It's nice to see that you're believing in this with us, coming back again, huh?"
Oh, absolutely.
And you lose 15 stamina.
Fuck!
Too much of that friendship and understanding.
I feel a little bit tired when he looks away.
Yeah, I had to get my boss in on this. It's what you're doing is incredible. It's almost unbelievable. Like, just think, in a few more months, we'll have a connection to the north.
Oh, yes. Truth be told, the way that things go. And at this point, like, you guys have sort of become the closer part of the ring. The guy's got a throng of people around him listening at all times. But,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing with the project, which is going to be just, and he does the CEO pitch thing where, like, he's telling you a secret loudly for the entire group of people around to hear.
Yeah.
Like, the truth is, the investors are going to see something a little bit earlier. It's only the main infrastructure that will get us from point A to point B, and we need that to do the big construction. As we do reinforcement and adding infrastructure and added layers of comforts along the way, we're even thinking of having inns. Well, then we're going to be really working, but only in a few weeks will we have the actual passage ready. It's just going to be, not ready for the general public.
Of course.
Of course, you don't want to show too much too early.
No. After all, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's all about telling a story together. We're building.
Absolutely.
So what's Reg up to? You guys have made your way home, and you've now got the patented V-ring.
Are the kids still in the street that we walked past?
Yep.
Is there any way for me to get to the house without walking past them?
You could sneak in through the firewalls.
Just
I don't want them to see that I have this.
Put it in your bag.
Can it fit in my bag?
Yeah.
I'll put it in my bag.
just give it to Steelfist and he walks a couple minutes behind you.
No, because they would know. This is a war against the kids. They're not allowed to know.
You hate these kids so much.
Kids are fucking assholes, alright?
These children.
Holy
Friendship.
shit. You have one.
Courage and kinship.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they can fuck right off.
So you make your way back to the house without any incident, and right as you're closing the door, like behind you, you hear the distinct sound of teenage cackling and running into an alleyway when you hear, "Your dad asked me to say hi last night."
Reggie's taking a moment, processing, and just goes, like that book that Absolution gave me? That doesn't seem applicable. My dad watches animals for a living.
Jeez.
And then you just...
So presumably you walk right in the front doors.
Yes.
So Bea's there, having set up her little shop of sorts, looking through the ledgers in the foyer, and she looks at you and goes, "It's okay, kid sassed you. Just walk it off."
I don't understand kid sass.
That's how it works. You don't understand.
I guess it's funny to them, so good for them.
You're just an ancient old man, aren't you?
Just He's an old man.
I like that I finally get to show off the fact that he is old. He is really
He's
old.
just so crotchety.
He was 20 when the last war broke out. He is like in his 40s now.
Well,
Like, so he's not like super old, but at the same time, he did not keep up.
Old enough to, like, for you to kind of go, oh yeah, of course, when he doesn't know how to use a phone.
Yeah, it's old enough that you go, oh yeah, of course. But at the same time, he like isolated himself with his religion for so long. He didn't keep up with anything.
that's true.
He doesn't know anything.
I feel like it's less, oh, of course, when he doesn't know how to use a cell phone. It's more like, oh, of course, when he posts a minion meme to his Facebook.
There's a clunk behind you as you've just walked in. You guys have returned from the investors' dinner. There wasn't much else to say. Which of you brought the flamethrower with you?
We got a flamethrower?
You went to the investors' meeting.
I did.
Oh.
You have a flamethrower.
Nice.
So
Got a
we
flamethrower?
Do I see the flamethrower? Oh, I know who to test that on.
It's what?
did you make some sort of nemesis?
No, but I would still like to test it.
Well, I mean, we are going to be doing some extensive testing with it. I want to figure out how it works.
Well, your first clue glimmers in your eyes as you see it poking out of Reggie's hands. Documentation.
Give me that.
You've got the demo manual kind of thing.
I am flipping through this. Is this even remotely useful?
It's the sort of thing where, like, it's like you have to read through the marketing to get to the information, but it's telling you everything you need to know. It talks about how this is being constructed through the lens of, like, we're a team, we're yanning together.
Yeah. I'm scratching that out. Like,
It looks like you finally get to the part where it talks about the materials, and the vulcanite crystals come from a mine in the far northern shore.
okay.
It says that it's the... Oh, what did I call it? I had written it down somewhere. Yeah, that's it. The Blued Steel Holdings Corporation, Site 6.
Food Steel Holding.
As opposed to red coat.
Well, that was a fashion thing. This is more of a metallurgy thing. If only we had a character that knew something about metalworking.
Man, we're just going down memory lane here. Jeez.
Okay. But how does it store energy? How does it release the energy? How much energy could it store? Why is it only fire?
You don't know much else. You just know that it's something called a vulcanite crystal.
Vulcanite crystal.
Actually, it's then that you notice a little bit of a disclaimer, like a legal thing. At the very, very end of the tiniest part of the brochure that you could possibly find at the bottom of like 6 spec sheets, you see that it mentions that vulcanite is a recently purchased trademark for the refined form of a different thing called deep fire salt. That is something you could probably look up.
Okay. Refined form of deep fire salt. Okay. That makes sense. I will go to some sort of archive or library and look up deep fire salt.
There are a lot of books in the library that you set up your office in.
I shall go investigate there. See if I can find some sort of mineral reference on deep fire salt.
You look through a few books until eventually you find one that mentions that this mineral is found at really, really, really deep elevations. The kind of place where you would need to either have an extremely deep tunnel network or something like one of those crack mines, which are... The book you're reading says that they're highly illegal. Whoever operates something intensely dangerous like that.
Okay. Does it say anything about what it does, what its properties are?
Yep. It's actually like an elemental fire mineral. Normally, you're able to get it cheaply as like an alchemical reagent.
Okay.
but it's ground down as a dust, as like fire salts. Here in its like original elemental form, which is something you're able to come by that easily, it's able to basically, when it's sparked with fire, it'll discharge a lot of stored energy. These things will wear down after ages, but they keep for a decent while. That being said, these things are really expensive to get.
Huh. Well, that's information at least. At least it's not some sort of weird dark magic making everyone believe there's fire, which was my sort of worst case scenario, is that he had some sort of thrall in the whole town that make believe fire, you know.
And then you spread it to us because you told us that there was fire.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't go placing the blame on myself, my own perfect soul, but yeah, I guess in a manner of speaking. So it looks like this guy is just it's just a battery of fire that'll last a while.
30 minutes.
Well, no, because it's 30 minutes that it'll release that charge for, but it's a like there's a certain amount of energy that it has when it's made that will eventually run out. I guess my only question is, like, it doesn't, like, it's a reagent, right? So normally when they're using it, they're not relying on it as the primary source of power, right? It's the alchemist that, I mean, you know alchemy. You're the one that injects your own sort of magic into the concoction. And this is more using your magic to force magic out of the concoction. It's going to eventually run out of juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is, how long? I don't think anyone's ever really used it like this. My bet is that it's not indefinite, and it's probably a lot closer than he would like people to think.
So at this point, you guys are strategizing somewhere in the house, presumably.
Okay, so
Did Elmira and what did I send to Elmira?
Johnstone and Elmira are not home right now because they're tailing him.
Okay.
I mean, you guys just saw him,
Yeah.
and so you're presuming that they're heading off to find out where he goes.
Yeah. That's
now,
true. That's true.
I want to make some notes here.
Mhm.
What sort of guard detail did he have at those meetings? I mean, everyone in the room had a flamethrower, but that's not exactly a...
A flamethrower, and they would give their lives for him. So.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was just the usual sort of thing you'd expect at any sort of like nobility or like rich merchant event. So like a lot of armed security and guards on the outside, but not like tons. Not anything ridiculous like you saw at the coronation.
Right.
Really, he just had maybe 5 or 6 in the room at a time.
Okay. 5 or 6. Did I notice any... Like, he's not keeping weapons on him, eh? Like, he's...
He doesn't seem to have had any weapons on him.
And he's mingling right in with the crowd. Like,
Yeah.
He did have a couple people up on the balcony at first, but that almost seemed more like an inner circle of investors, right? Like, they...
Mhm.
I'm a detective. Like, they just kind of had fancy clothes on and were just as enthralled as everyone else, eh?
It seemed like for the most part it was almost like there was an implicit hierarchy when you were there. Like there were people who were important, and it was always about being the most important person in the room kind of thing.
Well, so there's kind of 2 ways I think we can do this. We can either find some time when he's alone, or we can try and get into his inner circle and sort of make that time. Because he did have some people just alone on the balcony.
Mhm.
There weren't any guards up there, eh? It was just him and them?
Some of the guards were up there.
Okay. But there's... Okay.
Well, we can plot a way forward at the beginning of next episode, or we can do it at the end of this one, depending on how you guys are feeling.
I don't know. I'm just thinking now.
I'm working on side projects.
I got plans and thoughts.
I think we should think about it
I think we
and
should
then
think about
plan next episode.
All right.
Okay.
In that case, you guys will get some updates as to where we're going from here next. As for this episode, I guess we learned some things, put some stuff on the table, figured out what's going. Well, not figured out what's going on, but answered some pre-existing questions.
Yeah, mainly what the heck are these crystals? That was my big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about friendship, unity, connections, and kinship.
Well, if you guys want to join the scam cult, you can come on back to twitch.tv/Mr. Croden on, now we're doing it Thursday nights. The later half of 7, which turned out to be 8 tonight, but you know, whatever.
Technical difficulties on my
Yeah.
part.
It happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Otherwise, the episodes go up on YouTube at youtube.com/Mr. Croden, and if you want to check out the rules to this game, they're at bloodwine.fandom.com.
I feel like that needs to be a jingle, like bloodwine.fandom.com, but that's already one.
That is already one. We can't just steal theirs.
Copyrightinfringement.com.
Yeah.
That's what we tried to avoid by changing the name to Bloodwine.
Yeah.
I am happy though that Google now brings me to the Wiki article instead of to like some stupid Star Trek stuff.
I mean, is that just because you've been to the article
Yeah,
before?
no, it's because Google knows me and my personal and helping
Okay.
my. Yeah.
Because if it's actually showing up in, like, random Google search results, that would be clout. But, like...
See, I'm not saying clout.
Unexpected.
I'm saying for me, my own personal gratification and simplicity of life.
I'll
it's
have
better.
you know that I have a wiki, and it's on the first page of Google when you search Bloodwine.
Ooh.
Because no one would give a shit if it was on the second page, because then it's basically not there.
You don't need to go, yeah, we're on the first page at the bottom of it, but... is there anything that you're doing in the coming little while that you want to splash out there? Jade Empire.
Well, there's always more Jade Empire. This week on Jade Empire was very exciting. There was a big twist. Lots of plot happened.
Oh.
And now we're going to have to deal with the ramifications of that on Mondays.
With quick slaps and frog slaps.
Yep, quick slaps and frog baps.
Mm-hmm.
There may be a stream tomorrow. I don't know. I need to wrangle my friends into playing games with me.
Come on the Minecraft server and be like.
That would be a very boring thing given what I do on the Minecraft server.
Well, it doesn't have to be just what you do, you weirdo.
Fine, I'll go and do a tour of the Minecraft server tomorrow.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, everyone can show me their stuff that I've been missing because I haven't been on the
You
server
haven't
in
been on,
months.
and you live underground in a cave like a weirdo.
Oh my god, you're gonna, like, emerge from a cave and just be like, oh no, you're in a strategic location too, so you'll just be in, like, an isolated section of river that's really close to where we've built everything.
I get to show people my paranoia.
Yeah,
like my
it's-
weird obsession.
I was gonna put you on the map as a weird question mark symbol, but then I thought, no, even that's too much.
Yeah, that's too much. You need to discover... Anyway,
I've
I'll show
strate-
everyone that tomorrow, because screw it, why not? That's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm playing Minecraft.
Yeah,
Minecraft!
Oh shit, I guess I'm doing something tomorrow then.
Well, not necessarily, but I mean, you know.
What, you know...
Oh, yeah,
You don't need to show me around. I'll show myself around. But like, if you
Will
want to
knows.
be like,
Will actually
yeah,
knows.
I figured you would know the most on the server. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Will has like trails and secret passageways that like
yeah.
I set up the server and I don't even know about half of them.
I craft.
He craft.
Anyways, we're rambling.
Yes.
Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.